Good evening, folks. It is 6 o'clock. I see we've got about 13, 14 attendees online right now. This is the virtual academic night for the class of 2024. I am Brad Smith. Hopefully we have seen each other, talked at some point. I'm the administrator for the class of 2024. I'm actually in Chattanooga. This is a monster convention center hall. We've got a 60-something Farragut High School students competing in the DECA event, marketing, business, all that fun stuff. And I get to judge here in a minute, which is really bad timing. I'm going to start. I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about just a few different things that's kind of going through my mind as we and your students enter their junior year. Julie Raby is with me as well. I think I'm going to show your face, Julie. Are you ready? You ready? Ready? Okay. Now it's live. Julie Raby, she's going to be doing most of the work tonight. So she, of course, is our counselor for the class of 2024. And since the biggest topics that we're going to be talking about is going to be registration, that's mainly her big point there. I think before we really get started and before I have to kind of step away and start judging some competitions, what I really want to talk to you guys about is and going into the junior year, I want us to be thinking, really starting to try and have some of those conversations with our kids, not in a contradictory or a challenging way, but a real constructive conversation with them in terms of what do they want their lives to look like in 2 years. I've had some of your students come to me with that, kids who maybe it's the first time they're really thinking about it. I had one kid come up to me not too long ago and he said, Smith, in 2 years, I'm not going to be in high school anymore. I don't think I'm ready for this. And I said, no, you're not, but that's okay. We'll get you there. So if you guys can reinforce us on that, having those conversations, if you all learn anything, things that motivate them, things that they're interested in, those are awesome things to share with us. So it's awesome things to share with your teachers. The last thing I'll kind of say before I hand it off to Miss Raby, and I'll try and chill out in the Q&A as much as I can. We do have a Q&A chat for this. So your video and your audio is not enabled for this, and frankly, that's just security reasons, sorry. But we do have a Q&A chat. If you have questions or if you have comments, you can type that into the Q&A chat. What you type in and submit doesn't go out to everybody all at once, but it does come to me and to Miss Raby. We can either try to answer that to you privately, or if it's something that we think would benefit the good of the group, then we might post it for everybody to see that question, and we'll try and answer it either verbally or in the chat box at that point. So again, if you have questions, specific or general, the Q&A is going to be a great idea. And then if it's a question that's going to be good for the group, then we're going to try to answer that as we see those go through, okay? So Miss Raby, do you want your presentation up at this point?
Yes. Are you able to do that?
I can do it for you, yep. It should be live now.
Okay. So I'm going to go quickly through the registration process and just some things you might want to know about transcripts and credits and things like that. What you're seeing is what I present in all of the students' classes, and so a few screens I will probably just quickly through because it's things that we just have fun and talk about. First thing, yeah, that was a game. First thing we want to look at is the graduation checklist. And we go through like how everyone needs 4 Englishes to graduate, 4 math classes, basically 4 social studies, 3 lab science classes, 2 foreign language, 1 fine art, a lifetime wellness at the bottom, and PE. And then they're going to need some electives, and they'll need an elective focus. And we discuss all of this in class. They're welcome to come to my office and get one of these sheets if they want to do a checklist themselves. We go over this, like I give them just, this is like a possibility of what your classes might be, and I just have them like click through it and possibly put what's in progress, put what they're going to take junior year, take what they're going to take senior year, so they have an academic path all mapped out for themselves. Then we go over, this is just NCAA Division I, II requirements. This is only if they plan on playing sports in college, and we go over that in class. And then I let them look at their transcripts. And just so you can, this is what the top of their transcript page looks like. And I have them check their names, their birthday, make sure everything is correct. We look at their decile. If they want to know what their class ranking is, it's in 10 percentile rankings. If they have a 1, they're in the top 10%. If they have a 2, top 20%, 3, top 30%, and so on. Okay, and then this is just so you have an idea. This is what a transcript can look like. And you can see like all the classes are listed with their grades, and each credit is listed. And at the top right-hand corner is the total of credits they have earned so far. And we go over, they need 28 credits to graduate. All right. I want to make sure. Registration information. So these are some new course offerings where we have this year at Farragut Jazz Band, Marketing 2, Vocal Music 1 with no audition required. This year we're really excited. We're offering an ACT prep course. It's a half credit class that only juniors can take. And then we've got an advanced theater class and a nutrition science and diet therapy. It is a new lab science we're excited about, and then NIC veterinary science. So then we also have some application and audition courses, and the students know they can come to the counseling office if they need any application for a class, and they just need to have it turned in by March 11th. If they want to audition for a course, I told them to contact Mr. Moore or Mr. Woolley, and they will have the audition dates there. Then, and I know this might be a big question tonight, dual enrollment. So we're making it really simple this year, and all the students need to do is fill out the dual enrollment intent form. We have those in the counseling office. They are also on Aspen. The students can print them off and fill it out. Mr. James Michael, he is in charge of all dual enrollment questions, and he is going to make this simple. All you do is fill out this form, check which college you want to take your course from, and then he is going to have a meeting for everyone who wants to go to Pellissippi, and he's going to call you in and walk you through the application process. Then he will have a meeting for everyone that wants to go to Lincoln Memorial University, and he will walk you through the application process and so on. So he'll have a separate meeting for every college that somebody wants to do enrollment course in. And I will show you where your students are looking all of that information up on in a minute. So dual enrollment, they'll check the Aspen when they go to register. Most probably have already registered. I am nearing the end of my class visits where we register. And you will see the dual enrollment course catalog. They'll click on it, look through all of the classes under Pellissippi. Then they'll look through all of the classes under LMU, all of the classes under ETSU, and that's how they'll figure out which one they would like to go to. And in Aspen, they'll put a placeholder class, and in the notes to counselor section, they'll just put, instead of this class that I checked, I want dual enrollment psychology or whatever class they're looking at. So when they go to register online, they must be logged into their account. Parents, you guys cannot do this from your parent portal. It just won't work. So if you want to do it with them, just have them log in. And even all of the students that I've already registered with, like, it's all still open. It doesn't shut off until March 11th, so you can ask them to show them your classes, look at them, make sure they're on track and they're the right ones. And I've told them one thing they'll do is when they get to their core classes, they have to accept what the teacher has recommended for them. And if they or you disagree with a recommendation, say it's a regular standard CP English class and you want them to be in an AP class, they just print off an academic release form or just come to the counseling office and grab one. We have plenty. and you guys fill that out, turn it into me, I will sign it, and then this summer when we do schedule changes, I will make that change to their core class. But for registration in Aspen, they have to accept their teacher's recommendation and just click OK. So if you are possibly with your student right now, or you want to know just how they register, they open their Aspen and then they click on the My Info tab up in the top left hand. Then they will click the requests down at the bottom left hand side. It needs to be in entry mode, which they know how to do. Then this is the first page that's going to pop up. And as you can see, the top blue, there's the graduation requirements. Check your plan, what I was showing you earlier. There's the elective focus guideline. There's even tutorials, the course selection sheet. There's the course description. So if you have no idea what a class is, or you just want to know everything that it entails, like if you're looking up honors biochemistry, you click on the course description, program of studies, and you can look up everything that's going on, the description of every class. There's also the dual enrollment intent form, and then you can see the dual enrollment course catalog. You click on that blue tab and it will bring up every course that's being offered. And it's really neat because in the Pellissippi catalog, you can even see the Pellissippi classes and what the equivalent to at FHS would be if they took it there. Academic release form is also there for you to print. And then they're going to go down, and this is if they scroll down on that same page, this is what they see. They'll see the top English, math, science, and social studies. That's where they'll click the gray select button. That's where they see what class the teacher recommended for them. They click OK, and then it shows up in their school course description. Then they move on to their electives, and they're going to need to click 4 elective courses before it will let them to post it. Then they will also need a few alternate courses. The reason they need alternate courses is if in case the elective class that they chose is full, I have another option to look at when I'm building their schedule. Or if they pick 2 electives that are only offered during the same block, that's when I will look down at their alternate courses to see what else I can give them. Then you can see at the very bottom, it says notes to counselor. They can use that. I've told them to write me a novel. If they can't find a class that they want, just tell me what they want down there. If they want a course offered, like they want to take math because they play sports in the spring or fall, tell me what semester you want your core courses or an alternate or an elective, and I will do my absolute best to make that happen. This is what, when they click the electives, this is what will show up. If they click on the course description at the top, it will alphabetize everything, and then you can find things much quicker. You need 4 of those again. And again, this is what we talked about. If you do 4 electives and then a few alternates, please do not select the same courses in both alternate as electives. Use the notes to counselor section to let me know if you want to take a 7 a.m. class. If you prefer anything, that's what you use the notes to counselor section for. And submitting their request today doesn't help them get the perfect schedule because we haven't built the schedule yet. We're getting all of the info so we know how many people want marketing, so we know how many people want advanced creative writing, and then we'll build the schedule from that. And I tell them registration is posted and completed by Friday, March 11th. And please review all of their selections with you. So that is how we do registration. Forgive me, I don't know if Dr. Smith is still on, but I'm going to try and exit this so you can see me or him.
Okay. Hey, Ms. Smith, yeah, I'm still on. I'm still got
okay.
a few minutes, probably plenty of time for us. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's a lot of details that I definitely would not be able to answer. We have had 2 questions in the chat. One of them I was able to answer. That question was, does physical world concepts, which is a science class, does that count as a lab science? That does count as a third lab science if your student takes it. And my understanding is they still need biology and they still need chemistry, because those two classes are listed by name as Tennessee State high school diploma requirements. The other question came, and I can answer part of it, but it asked about really kind of the difference in US Gov, civics, and US history. The individual also asked about personal finance, and so personal finance is a class we're not going to worry too much about this year. That is a 12th grade class. It is worth half a credit, and it is paired with the economics class. So that's going to be something that we're going to look at students enrolling for their senior year. But maybe Ms. Raby, you can help with the question about the Gov and the civics and the US history.
Sure. So US Gov is actually paired with contemporary issues. Civics is not a class we offer. It is just a test you must take to graduate, and they give that. It's on Canvas. You can take it anytime, but they usually have you take that during the US Gov semester or AP Gov semester. US Gov is a half credit, and that's why you only really need 3.5 credits, social studies credits to graduate. It's because US Gov is a half credit. But that's why we also pair it with contemporary issues, which is also a social studies themed class, but it's just not a Tennessee requirement. But we pair it with US Gov so your student gets a full credit. I hope that answers the question. And yes, so you know, I go through every single transcript every semester and try my hardest to make sure your student is on track to graduate. I have told them all about elective focus. They need that to graduate. It's 3 classes under an elective focus area. And I'm going to send out an email to the entire class and parents in case you missed me in your classes or you were absent or something like that. I want you to come straight to my office and we will walk through this personally one-on-one with everyone who needs it. Are there
We had another question in the chat, and I think I can take this one. So the question is, starting junior year, students are eligible to, I guess, kind of check in or apply for 7 a.m. classes. So we've got a small selection of classes that start at 7 a.m. They go from 7 a.m. to 8:21 technically, but I think most teachers let them go at about 8:15. The 7 a.m. classes are 1 semester, and the intention of that is to allow some flexibility in some scheduling options for kids who might be in classes that are other classes that are only offered certain times. So for example, the percussion, orchestra, percussion, band percussion is typically only offered second block. But if there's a specific social studies class that the student really wants to take, then the 7 a.m. class gives us another option to possibly offer that class to that student. Now, the intention of the 7 a.m. classes is not to give your kids more classes. It's to give them just another way to get the specific classes they might be interested in. So my idea is that the kids who take 7 a.m. classes, they have their own transportation to and from school reliably. They're responsible. They've shown themselves to be responsible, that they can get up and get to school and be here on time, and they're responsible to turn in their work. The idea would be then after 3rd block, so around 2 o'clock, that the student would leave campus. They would go home, they would go they'd go to work, they'd go help out families or friends. The intention is not for them to have 5 classes in a semester. That's not something I'm looking at doing in any way. We also have a set of classes that start at 7:30, 7:30 to about 8:15, 8:20. Those classes are year-long classes, and in those cases, one of the semesters, the student would be able to leave after third block, and then the other semester they would technically have 5 classes then. What I'm looking at is that on a year-long basis, the student has 8 total credits. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. If it doesn't, hit me up via email. I did put Ms. Raby in my email in the chat a little bit earlier. So any other questions that folks have, you can just put it in the Q&A chat and we'll kind of review it as we can. Do you see any, Ms. Raby, that I might have missed?
I'm not seeing anything new right now.
Okay. It looks like we had some folks join us a little bit late, which is okay. My understanding is that these live events meetings are recorded automatically. So after this event, I'm gonna go find that recording, and either tonight or tomorrow, I'm gonna upload it someplace and where you guys can find it and review some of the stuff that we might have missed. Again, any questions you guys have in the chat?
We might have another one. Oh, never mind. Just said thank you.
Yay, thank you. Well, again, if our contact information is in the chat too, so if you think of something, something comes up as you're discussing this with your student tomorrow, feel free to email us. Free feel to have your kids come talk to us. As much as I love speaking with adults, frankly, your kids are sometimes more interesting. So I like chatting with them. Tell them to come by. As I said in the beginning, this going into the junior year is a critical year for a lot of folks. They're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to figure out what they want to be. And for some of them, it's very panic-inducing. It can be very overwhelming. There's been this notion in a lot of education past few decades that, you know, we've got to go to college and we've got to find a major, and Lord, don't change major too many times. It'll take you forever to get out of college and you'll be in debt. And I think the important thing that we need to tell some of these kids right now is just to start looking for what they want to do. Just start experimenting, fantasizing, imagining what they might want to do. I imagine that there's a bunch of people on this call. We've got 37 attendees. I am sure not all 37 of you went straight to college, stuck with the same major, graduated, and went straight into your field of choosing. I can tell you, for me, I didn't figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up until I turned 30. So we have lived it. We have lived, or we've been around people who have lived making changes in our goals and making changes in how we want to find success and how we define success. Let's make sure that we give our kids that freedom and flexibility to explore those in a healthy way too, okay? Ms. Raby, do you have any other final comments? I don't think we have any other questions, and so I want to let folks get back to their evening.
Hang on, we have quite a few questions that have come in.
Oh, we do? Awesome.
I'm trying to answer them. One is, who pays for dual enrollment? And that is, it is under a grant. So for juniors and seniors, it is covered through the education system. And this is why we didn't get in this dual enrollment. You'll just need to come to the meeting if you fill out a form, because the criteria is all different across the board. And so some require ACT scores, some don't, some require a certain GPA, some don't. And so if you want to come to that meeting, just come to that meeting. Does it benefit? It benefits your student if you want, because they can get free college credit. So they can get a high school credit and a college credit by taking dual enrollment. A lot of the classes we offer at Farragut are just as good. So it's really just a choice. Do you want to start dual enrollment, getting some credit for college early or not? Some of these, and if you cannot find a class listed, feel free, just send your student to my office. Sometimes Aspen it's just tricky to navigate. And if you can't find a class, it might be on the next page over, or you just click on the white area to the right and keep scrolling. There are hidden classes under there. It can be difficult, so I'm happy to walk the student through that. I think that might be all of the questions.
Would you had two folks mention CP biology?
Yeah, I just told them how to find it.
Awesome. I figured you did. It's just one of those I was responding to another question via text.
This is probably good for everyone, so I'll answer it. When is the dual enrollment meeting? We don't have those listed. Mr. Michael is just collecting all of the information, and I'm sure it'll be after spring break. when he can sort through and just get how many people are needed for each class meeting. But he will email you personally and tell you where the meeting is, when the meeting is.
One of the questions I'm going to respond to verbally, if I can, it's what's your opinion on honors and AP versus CP classes? I think that's a great question. I think it's going to be different for every kid. One of the things I don't like, and I've been in some meetings, and there's one time I even slipped up and I said something like, man, I don't know if I would punish a kid with this tough of a schedule. What I don't like is overloading kids. What I don't like is, oh, if my kid's not in 7 out of 8 AP classes, then they're not achieving to their potential. 7 AP classes at Farragut High School is incredibly tough. Incredibly tough. 2 AP classes at Farragut High School is going to keep them awake working on homework till 11:30 every night. Okay, so I would recommend a good balance, right? If you've got a student who has always excelled in a math class, or they've always just naturally worked well in English classes, then maybe we do challenge them in an honors or an AP class in that subject, just to see them stretch. They are going to learn some new study skills. They're going to have to learn new note-taking skills and how to self-advocate and work with the teacher on things. What I don't want is a kid taking all AP classes, even in courses they're not comfortable with, and then freaking out, having breakdowns, and just mentally and emotionally suffering from a confidence standpoint halfway through the semester. That's just not necessary. But again, each kid is individual, so that's something I'd love to have that conversation with you and your student. If you want to kind of pick my brain about that, and let's see how your kid feels too. You have any other questions we think we want to put up here? You talked about dual enrollments. Got a question about the AP stuff. Do we need to publish that one?
You can publish anything if you think it would benefit some. I just didn't know.
Yeah, I'll leave it. I think that one's. You've talked a lot about the dual enrollment stuff. Okay. Any other questions, folks? All right, we are getting real close to the 6:30 mark, so I'm going to give you guys your evening, and it looks like I've got students coming in to give me some presentations. Thank you all for your time, and again, if you came in late, I'm going to look for that recording, and I'll post that and communicate that out hopefully within the next couple business days, okay? Thank you all for your time. Thank you, Ms. Raby.
No problem.